They know what I'm saying, man.
Oh, yes, they do.
Dee-dee-dee-dee.
Shh. I have to do the intro first. You're not allowed to talk yet.
That's right. That's how we do that. Can't speak until.
Welcome back to the Retronomipod, a nostalgia and pop culture podcast where we discuss things from our past, our present, and our future. And my memory still serves correct, because I am the host of this show. My name is Toby, and as always, across this universe, as much as both of us thought about doing solo episodes at one point, we just couldn't bring ourselves to it. My beautiful best friend, redheaded co-host, Rick. How you doing, buddy?
Good. On the thought of like doing solo episodes, it would be, at least from my side of it, it would just be such like a, here's the facts. Good night. Like
It was
such
just
a boring, like, this is going on in the world of insert pop culture thing here.
it would be the most scripted thing that you've ever done. You'd be constantly like tapping your papers on the desk, you know? It's like, well, okay, and other news, I don't do this by myself.
There's a reason we have structure and quotes.
Yeah. I mean, look, as unscripted as our stuff is, it's scripted kind of. And I need the feedback. Like I need the back and forth, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what works. For 2 years plus now.
Yeah, right. Well, might as well knock that out. We figured we'd save this conversation for the show. We've been missing, right? Like,
yeah,
missing. I haven't looked at when we posted our last episode, but it's been a minute. It's been a minute. So for people that don't know Rick and I personally, right? Both of us not only quit jobs. Again, you guys have heard this on the show from me multiple times now, right? Yeah, multiple times. But we have quit our jobs once again. And sadly not to pursue any sort of dream, but to get out of a toxic work environment. That took a toll, to say the least. Mm-hmm. Since then, I have found another job, quit that job, and then found another job. So yeah, we're here. We're here now.
Yeah.
But we're back.
You know, you quit a job that isn't great. Then you find multiple other jobs to try to make up for that void. And, you know, whether it does or doesn't matter. It's time to move on. But we're back here. It took a while because with the holidays and stuff, it's hard to pin down time when you're hosting every weekend a different party for different folks at the house. So it's like, you know. But here we are. New year, new us, new you.
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah. So yeah, we've went through some growing pains. But never lost sight of the podcast, so we're gonna come back and talk about some stuff. Plus, I think you and I both got very nervous as to what kind of standard we were gonna be held to for episode 69.
Oh, 69.
I mean,
yeah. For the fans of the podcast, they're like, "Oh, this is the most anticipated episode ever because it's 69."
Nice.
You know, like, what do you do?
Well, yeah. What do we do?
What do we do? So we thought we would go in the natural direction that this podcast would go in.
Balls?
And do a PG episode.
Bouncy
perfectly
balls.
Clean.
Yeah,
yeah, bouncy balls.
Yeah, okay.
You know, rubber band, silly putty, if you will.
Silly putty. It makes a noise, right?
You stick it to exactly. You're sticking it to the newspaper comics to go, oh look, Garfield's now on my pink buddy. But now here we go. What? You're muted.
I could always get like newspaper articles to cross over to my Silly Putty. But did it ever work for you to get like full-fledged like pictures? Could you like squish it onto a comic and it just worked that way? Did it work that way for you?
I feel like yes, but maybe that's just the commercial I remember seeing.
Right, exactly. I know I've tried it, but I also remember that it didn't seem great. You know?
Yeah. But that wasn't the purpose of it. It was just more fun to like.
Yeah, it got so gross so fast. Oh my gosh. And then they wanted you to stick it back in the stupid little egg. And the egg wasn't like a regular egg. They split it down the sides instead of through the middle. So like getting it back together was always hard. Yeah. It's going to be a very tough PG rated episode for me.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
For what our show usually is. It's going to.
I am very glad that I am not drinking, because this episode would have got, maybe I should have been drinking to see how many drinks does it take him to raise this rating of today's, G for everyone. Now, parental guidance, probably. I've already made
jokes. Starts out E for everyone, and then by the end, we're in mature territory almost within 5 minutes.
Some NC-17 type stuff, right?
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get into it. Weird question of the week. This is from months ago. I think September was the last time we released an episode.
I didn't want to know.
Yeah. But, or maybe even late August at that point. But anyway, that's besides the point. The weird question of the week for previous was, what have you learned in 2 years? So we just celebrated our milestone of that.
What have we learned? Well, I think a big thing that we've learned is it's hard to be consistent.
It's hard to be consistent.
I tell you what, through 2 years, of trying to hold a full-time job and want to invest all the time into this, it is hard unless you just don't want to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't like sleeping in the sense that like I hate wasting time of the day, but man, do I need it. I need that sleep. I start running off of 6 hours. So one of the jobs I had, right, was start at 4:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, right? Like my shift started at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's getting up at 3, leaving the house by 3:30. And I cannot fall asleep, at 9 o'clock every night. I just can't do it. And even if I'd have fallen asleep at 9 o'clock, that was 6 hours of sleep. 6 hours for me, pretty good. Like that, I can run off of 6. I'll eventually have a day, like 4 or 5 days in, where I'll be like, yo, it's nappy time. But like, I'm pretty good. And man, I can't do it. Like I can't do it forever. And getting up that early, it's not fun. No. It's not fun. But consistency, 2 years, consistency. You know what I haven't learned in 2 years? Editing and audio quality problems, right? There is a lot of hands in the computer pot of audio issues.
Yeah.
I have learned, I guess. So I can't say that I haven't learned.
I mean, they listen to the podcast from episode 1 to where we are now. They're going to go, oh, this is better. There is a marked difference.
There's a Joe Rogan experience quality to this.
Yeah. Like, nobody can deny that it hasn't gotten better. Now, consistency, that has been something we've struggled with since day one.
It's tough. I'm not even going to say that we're going to be super consistent this time, because God knows you guys have heard enough promises up until this point. But I enjoy doing the podcast. I always have, and I hope that I always will. But it is hard. It is hard, especially, like we've talked about this in the past. You have kids plus hobbies. I have a bunch of hobbies and then a stroke of laziness. Like it is, I am all good to like sit on the couch after work and be like, oh, all those aspirations, out the window. Like, I don't need any of that. I don't need to be a better person today. I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow turns into 3 months from now. 3 months turns into when I was 22 saying I would do it by 25. We're 33 now. So do the math there. It's I'm just more tired nowadays.
The larger issues.
What else?
Yeah, but I mean, I appreciate everybody who's stuck with us through it all and who's turning into this now is great, or who's listening to it in the future. I mean, we appreciate anybody who's kind of tagged along with this journey as roller coastery as it's been. I mean,
In a
for our
journey,
aspect,
it has been.
yeah, 2 years. It's pretty wild, but we're gonna still power on. You know, same quality as usual.
Yes.
Except for this episode. This is special episode 69, where things are clean and happy. Happy.
Well,
Joy,
and
joy.
now I don't remember if I cussed in the beginning, you know?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go back through and listen before we publish, so that way we can go, oh shoot.
Yeah, I mean, if you want the unedited version, right? Come watch the live version.
Yeah. Watch us struggle to try to keep it PG, and then listen to the podcast. Go, they did it. Hey.
Yeah, and there's just gonna be a bunch of beep, beep,
beep, or the weirdest noises, dolphin, or the beep sound,
or it'll be something dirty.
Or it'll be like,
So since the last time, I mean, you and I have spoken in between these dark ages of the podcast, but Christmas happened. I got some cool stuff, and I got to do something in the collection realm that you don't get to do very often, I will say. And I got to knock something off of the Grail list. Yes, the Grail list is one thing shorter. It's crazy. And for Christmas, I got my World of Warcraft board game. And they've made a lot of World of Warcraft board games, right? This is the original 2005. Got the miniatures with it, World of Warcraft brand new. It's a big box. It's a big box. And it's gotten expensive. Like, I remember passing it up. There's a store in Arvada or Westminster or whatever they want to call it, wherever it's at. That their used board game selection is insane, right? They take good care of their stuff. They make sure everything's complete. And like 6 years ago, they had a complete World of Warcraft board game on the shelf, $99. And I remember looking at it, Daisy trying to tell me to get it, and me being like, "No, I can't buy this yet. Like, I'll get it, but I can get it for $75 on eBay, right?" Not anymore, good sir. Not anymore.
the other way.
Yeah, it is now a $200 board game. And to find in good condition, it's gonna run you $200. If you find it in the store now, you're probably looking at $230, $240. It's but yeah, again, not very few things. I've crossed 2 things off of my Grail list in like all the times that I've been hunting for Grails, right? For me, it's like, do I spend the money and buy one thing, or do I spend the money and buy 7 things? And for a long time, I was quantity over quality. I mean, that just is what it is, right? But this time I still was as well, because Daisy got it for me for Christmas. I didn't even have to buy it. But yeah, I've crossed 2 things off a Grail list, and that's Clay Fighters, my N64, and the World of Warcraft board game. It's nice.
Extraordinary. It's great.
It's crazy. Like I said, it doesn't happen very often, so it's one of those things.
I mean, that's why they're holy grail items, not I found it on the sidewalk.
I don't know if I should consider World of Warcraft a holy grail, right? It's pretty demonish. Got some demons in it.
Got some demons.
We all got some demons in us.
Oh boy.
Speaking of people with demons in them, I know you and I both played Justin Roiland's new game a little bit. You like that segue?
It was very good. I was like, where's he go with? Got it. He lined it up perfectly. Way to go. High on Life released a month ago or so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's on the old Game Pass. That's the way I've been enjoying it.
It's on the old Game Pass. I've said it before, I'll say it again. One of the best things given to gamers. It's amazing.
And it's a great game too. Like, On the surface, I was like, I don't know how good this is gonna be with Rick and Morty creator. I don't know.
When you
But
see the
man,
beginning like videos of it, and you're just like, am I gonna want to hear Morty that much?
yeah.
Like,
And fortunately, we don't have to.
but it's still good, man. Like that when play even through like the first couple hours of that game, there were times when I legitimately just laughed out loud. Like it
Yeah.
had no right to be as, and it's not even like story arc stuff, right? It's like you bumped into someone in the like main little hub city, and some of the stuff that they like say to you is just out of this realm of what? Like what?
You're not wrong. It's a lovely blend of like sci-fi, like super sci-fi, the aliens, the way that you can kind of walk up to, the NPCs in the game and just kind of interact with them, and they say nonsense, or they'll give you a little tidbit that you might not know of, so you're like, oh, now I know where, go up there, or to the pawn shop and spending freaking a half hour there clicking on every item just to hear what the owner said. Oh, that's not for sale. That's not for sale. What the hell are you doing here?
It's like the Gilmore Girls and the amount of words that they had to put into that video game. And it's not that long of a game, right? Like I haven't beaten it yet, but people are saying somewhere around right around like that 8-hour mark if you just try to burn it. But I have to say, like, considering I am enjoying it like so much more than I expected to.
Yeah, it's just enjoyable play where you want to go back and play it because, okay, what's the next funny thing? What's the next cool weapon or gizmo or gadget you get?
Yeah, once I realized with the knife, when I got the knife, and I was like, oh, the knife talks too? Yeah, and it's just like even, it's like at the very beginning of the game, spoiler alert, right? It's like one of the very beginning quests of the game, you get this knife, and he's got a grudge to hold against the guy that's kind of telling you how to do everything. And he's like, he's like, when we get back to him, he's like, just bury me in his stomach. Just bury me in his stomach. So when you finally get back to that guy, like I like walk over and I'm like, oh, I can't stab him, I can't stab him. And all of a sudden it gives me the stab him like thing, and so you stab him. He's like, the guy's
achievement unlocked. You're like, oh, I got an achievement for doing it too. Cool.
He's like, you don't have to listen to everything the UI tells you to do.
You're like, don't I though?
Oh, even with the like trying to kill the kid in the beginning or whatever, it's just like he's like, you got to pull the trigger on the like kid NPC that's talking to you. And he's like, hey man, he's like, that's just a child. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, we can't kill this thing.
Yeah, you keep trying to. Like there are times where I just keep trying to try it, and like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, I've well, and of course, like after that first like experience, like I've tried to push it, just like to think like, oh, there's no way they could have thought that I was gonna shoot this thing, and for the most part, they've thought of just about everything.
Yeah.
Even like there's just side characters that have nothing to do with anything else. Like I ran up at a dude in like this little tunnel, and like as you walk up to him, he's like, yep, that's my leg blown off. And it's like you walk up to him and his leg's just laying to the side of him, and he's like, hey man, he's like, can I have some help? And you don't say anything, and your gun's telling you, he's like, we should just get out of here. Like we should just like this we can't do anything about this, You're just like, what the hell?
You walk away, he's like, oh well, I guess we were done talking. Okay. All right, we'll see you later.
Yeah, it's
they've got cool little Easter eggs like that, and then they've got like the fact that you could sit on the couch and watch movies. I don't know if full length movies. They've got 4 that you could play at different times within the thing. Tammy and the T-Rex, Vampire Hookers, Blood Harvest, and Demon Wind. Like movies that nobody thinks about or knows about.
Tammy and the T-Rex?
Yeah, it's got a young Paul Walker in it.
Wait, really?
Like a really young Paul Walker. If you get a chance, look it up.
Like a 4-year-old Paul Walker or like a 14-year-old Paul Walker?
Yeah, like a early adult. Like because it came out in '94, so it's not like he is fresh-faced, pre-Fast and Furious Paul Walker.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's not far from Fast and Furious though.
Yeah,
we're getting moderately close.
It's just so freaking fun. Every single weapon you get is unique enough where you want to try them out enough, and
it really is. Like I was surprised, and
folks are great too.
People hated on that game. Like hated on that game. I remember listening to reviews and stuff and being like, "Are we playing the same game?"
Right?
And now it seems to be getting like a better like following, and people are appreciating it for what it is.
Yeah. I think once the fans get a hold of it, they're like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? This is exactly what you would expect from, the Roland guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But
they're going to try to cancel him now, though, which, is what it is, I guess. But
I don't know.
Not touching it, right? This PG episode.
PG episode.
Before we move along to the news,
high on life.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something I haven't got to do in a long time, and I got video games. I got some video games.
Nice. What'd you get? What'd you get, Toby?
They were gifts, actually, Christmas gifts. So throughout the year, right? My mother lives in my hometown back in Indiana, right? So every few weeks, she'll call me out of the blue, normally during the workday, right? And you get a call from your mother during the workday, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And normally it's her at a Goodwill or a thrift store. Hey, do you have these? So I taught her how to FaceTime me because she finally gets an iPhone. I taught her how to FaceTime me, so when she's at the thrift stores and stuff, she can FaceTime me so I can look at what she's looking at rather than her having to explain what she's looking at, right? But she ran into some good stuff. Like August or so last year, my mother just came out to visit the first week of January, so she stayed with me. She hadn't seen the dog yet. She hadn't seen the house yet. So we had my mom in town for a week hanging out. But she brought me some of the stuff that she had bought me over the past year and thrown it into a suitcase that we threw away because she literally just brought it to bring Christmas presents. But good games. And to say we can't find stuff at the thrift store here in Colorado, we can't find stuff at the thrift store. Where I'm from in Indiana still has a Salvation Army. The Simpsons.
Oh, that fantastic game.
Bart versus the Space Mutants.
Holy crap, that's a good game.
Not in the collection, right? NES games, especially nowadays, really tough to get your hands on in the wild. And I'm not actively searching for NES games from the game store, right? Bart versus the Space Mutants, first thing that she showed me. $6. $6 NES game, right?
Rad.
Great condition. Awesome. A game that I almost lost it on because she told me the title before she told me what it was on. And this is one that I haven't played, but on the Sega Genesis is a very rare, very expensive game. NES, still somewhat of a rarity, but not nearly as expensive, but it works out. The Punisher.
The Punisher.
The good old Elgin. I've never played this, and I cannot wait till at least try it out. And I'm hoping it just plays like a beat 'em up.
But it'll probably be side scroller beat 'em up thing.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, it's an Elgin game, so Elgin also made one of my favorite beat 'em ups, which is Maximum Carnage. So I'm hoping that it has that kind of play style. Also $6. The find that I didn't think I was gonna get anytime soon.
Punisher game. God damn.
Turtles 3, Manhattan Project.
This
is the third, more rare version of the Turtles arcade games. This one was $10. It's awesome because it's still got a Be Kind. My camera's a Be Kind. Please rewind sticker on the back of the NES game. So at some point it was a rental, which I love. I love it.
Yeah.
Right? My Clay Fighters, like, for people that don't know, Clay Fighters Sculptor's Cut was an N64 game that was released strictly to be rented out at Blockbuster. It is
wild.
By far the most expensive, like, stock N64 game you can buy, right? One that's not like a demo version or a not for resale version or whatever. Mine still has like BBV and the stock number on it. It's still got the Blockbuster sticker across the back of it, like the property of Blockbuster sticker. And I will never remove it. I'm never going to remove it. But yeah, so Punisher,
that's some good
Simpsons,
damn, dude.
Space Mutants, and the Manhattan Project. Not just the normal arcade one, but the Manhattan Project, which is, again, all three I did not have in the collection. And just banger. NES games for the Wild. $22 in total is what my mom paid for them, or I guess technically what I paid for them. Because I cash her money. I'm just like, where are you at? Like, I'm like, cool, I'm cashing you money right now. Like, boom, Cash App, buy them for me, right? She also brought some Wii U stuff that I just had her buy because they were for $1. But I don't have Wii U. I don't collect Wii U. I don't own a Wii U. So I literally just got them for trade. So we're gonna trade those in at some point. And then
those games, God, I can't get over that. Those 3 games,
just to run across them in a thrift store,
is so like, holy crap! I haven't thought about a Simpsons game in forever, let alone Bart versus the Space Monsters or whatever. That's wild.
I look at a Simpsons arcade machine every time I walk into my basement. So
that's true,
dude. So I almost went and bought right before Christmas, actually, I almost went and bought my NFL Blitz machine, my 1-up machine, right? And I'm talking to another buddy of mine, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go buy it tomorrow. And he's like, really? And he's like, I didn't think you'd want it. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, NFL Blitz, one of my favorite games of all time. And he's like, they took out all the late hit stuff. And I was like, what do you mean they took all the late hit stuff? And he's like, yeah, he's like, all the late hit stuff, like the suplexes and stuff, he's like, you can't do in the arcade, the 1-up version. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Really?
And so look it up, and you can't. There's no, and it's like their way of trying to, take pressure off of the NFL for all the concussions and CTE stuff. And so I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I couldn't bring myself to buy it because it only comes with Blitz, 3 different versions of Blitz. But in none of those versions, you don't get to suplex anyone. You don't get to slam anybody.
Like, that's half the fun of the game, is the fact that these bulbous monsters get to pick each other up and body slam each other. Like, that was the reason why NFL Blitz was so much fun too, is that it was so brutal. Oh,
it's not a great football game. It's not a bad football game, but it's like, yeah, it's
NFL extreme, like NFL on steroids. It's what XFL wanted to be.
It's I don't know. I was bummed. To say the least.
Yeah. No, man, look it up. Maybe there's a way to.
Well, there is a way, right? One of the other things I asked for Christmas, I actually did very well for Christmas. Daisy just blew it out of the water, right? Because this year I actually like pinpointed a bunch of stuff, right? Like, we don't do lists. I don't know what I'm getting for Christmas, but I give suggestions on what I would want, right? Especially for some of the like more random stuff that I deal with. That like she wouldn't buy most of the time because she doesn't want to buy something wrong, right? Like, she's never going to buy me computer parts, used board games, stuff like that, unless I give her, this is what I'm looking for, right?
Right.
But I asked for, they make these arcade kits that come with all the buttons, all the joysticks, the USB hub to plug it into the computer to make your arcade. And she got me that this year. So behind me, for people that aren't on video, somewhere right down here, there's a white case that is my old computer. And that computer case came out of a different arcade machine back when I was with the arcade company. But now I'm slowly getting all the stuff together to build my own machine. And I was like, I will have an original version of Blitz. It's going to happen.
Yeah. That'll be a fun build to watch come together.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to actually
work on it,
Yeah, do some videos and stuff on it. So right now I'm in the debate stages of upgrading my computer, right? To it works, right? Because it's a trickle down effect. If I upgrade my computer, so say I'm gonna go buy a new graphics card for my computer, which I don't necessarily need, I just want. If I buy a new graphics card for my computer, that means I can take my graphics card now and put it into Daisy's computer. And then I can take the graphics card she has, which is more than good enough to be able to run 3D games on my arcade machine.
Yeah.
And so I have my graphics card, right? But that all starts with me going out and getting a new graphics card for my computer. So right now we're debating within ourselves if that's, a good idea or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, it's weird for as long as we like a lot of stuff has happened. Like, I turned 40 and then we had Halloween and then Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's like so much has gone by that we've missed out on a lot of good shows. But yeah, I mean, we're back here. Best Christmas gift I got, I wanted to share it, was the serial killer knife. I don't know if you can
Oh my
see,
goodness
but it's actually
gracious.
a knife with Lucky Charms
Lucky
in it.
Charms?
Yeah. Originally, I was going to do Fruit Loops, but they were out of that one. Like, I just threw it out there as a suggestion, as you do for Christmas gifts. Just like, this would be cool as like a stocking stuffer or whatever. But the old in-laws got me a knife, which is kind of a weird, I don't know, thing.
The in-laws, they're trying to say something. Just get rid of the daughter now.
They really know how to. They're really good at giving gifts. But yeah, Christmas was Christmas. I got a bag of coal this year, so that was funny.
Yeah, I've gotten a bag of that. I had friends once give me a box of Frosted Flakes because I had been so flaky that year.
Oh yeah, you told us about that one. It's like, oh, it's funny, but it's also kind of like like, oh, fuck you guys.
Oh,
Oh, I did it! Oh no!
You did it.
Dang,
you did it.
There
Not
it is.
me. I want the record to show that it was him. It was not me. For all of you guys, placed your bets, right? Because I know you did, right? Toby's gonna screw this up. It was Rick. It was you.
It was I.
Now we're PG-13.
There it is. All right, let's see if we can get to R.
Oh, I could do that right now. Next 3 sentences.
We could.
Yeah, no problem.
3 words. We could make that happen.
Yeah, 1 word, I think.
Yeah, truly. Well, I guess we'll move into some news. I can't. Well, we'll just go into the news. Yeah. So the first thing I got.
Wait, what?
I was thinking, like, well, some of this news is from a while ago, but like, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Some of this stuff is, forever young. So let's just go into it.
Yeah.
Like
maybe we're the only way that people get their news, so they don't know.
Oh, that they'd be like, "What's going on? When am I going to get the next update about
what are politics?"
What are our politics? That's something you won't get on this show. So Snoop Loops is a thing. Snoop Dogg decided to create his own breakfast cereal.
I mean, because why are they THC infused? That's the real question.
You'd think so. I know they're gluten free.
Oh, but I mean, gluten is a drug.
It's so funny. So it's part of this Brodus Foods, which is basically his, so he's releasing all this stuff for his mom. Like he's like, it's his mom's food.
Oh,
like
okay. I was like,
Mama Snoop's pancake mix and Mama Snoop maple syrup. So there's Snoop Loops because naturally, she gave him the nickname of Snoopy when he was a kid, and that's kind of that's why he's called Snoop Dogg. But it's fun. It looks like Fruit Loops, but with marshmallows, and it's got a fun little dog type character on it. Like it's very what you would expect a breakfast cereal to be, except the fact that it's from Snoop Dogg, and you'd expect it to be.
I mean, it is Loops with a Z, so.
Well, yeah, for shizzle, mine is enough. Can't do. Just, yeah, it's.
Some of the profits from the cereal will go to Door of Hope, a charity addressing homelessness in Los Angeles County. That's cool.
I mean, when you're a billionaire,
neat,
but
I mean, am I gonna want? I don't know. I think if I ever saw Mama Snoop's pancake mix, I might buy it, but I don't want Mama Snoop's instant grits. Very picky with my grits anyway. And I'm definitely not touching the maple syrup, right? Like the Vermont maple syrup ruined me forever.
So going back.
I know. We get a gallon sent to us like once every 2 years.
From
right down the road from where Daisy's parent or mom lived.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's in a generic maple syrup bottle, and it's got like the little postage thing on it that shows you what farm it came from. And I know that this came out of some tree in Concord, Vermont. And that's where my maple syrup in my fridge comes from.
Jeez.
Yeah. It is
Here you are living the
gold.
high life.
Ooh. This is, look, I mean, cereal is the first thing you get when you want to do something ridiculous, right? Like, all cereals get approved. Good cereal, bad cereal, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This makes sense. And if I see it, I'm going to do it, and we will have to have a nom 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 episode on it. Or can we buy it in store?
Boy, that's a good question. I wonder if there's a website we have to go through. See, there's nothing more on it. It's like this weird mystery. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm maybe there's some website we can go to order. I'll have to look into it, and if I find it, I'll do a Nami Nom on it.
Yeah,
sure.
I want to find it. I want to eat it.
I'll send you a little baggie of Snoop Loops.
As long as it looks like a bag of drugs.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it. I'll be like, hey, can you meet me in the Walmart parking lot?
Yes.
We'll do the proper look around.
Walgreens, because Walmart is sketchy. All about the Walgreens parking lot. Got to pick up my prescription.
Gotta pick up my prescription. Steal some candy, or I mean, pay for candy. Couple of games coming out. Oh, I just deleted that. A couple of games coming out. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is coming out with a 4v1 kind of deal.
It's a Dead by Daylight clone.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
I am in. My issue with this, right, is Dead by Daylight did it so well. They just did it so well that I think if I were Killer Clowns from Outer Space IP, that I would have just tried to have gotten my stuff into Dead by Daylight. Right? Like, I think that would have been the better play in the long run, because there's just, in my opinion, there's probably no way that this is as good as Dead by Daylight, and will probably wear out its welcome pretty fast, especially for people who aren't fans or know of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, which has had this like weird resurgence over the past year.
Really, it has.
Where it's like, why has this become like going to Spirit Halloween? They had a crap ton of like costumes and inflatables and decorations and stuff where we're like, this is a cult hit to like a crazy degree, but now it's like this, everybody knows about it.
Yeah, my brother showed me this movie when I was real young. And it became an instant like favorite for me. But am I gonna play it? Yes. And what I'm hoping is that they do the right thing for us here and drop it on Game Pass. Because me spending $60 or $70 on this game is probably not in the picture. So like anything above 30, I'm probably not buying it straight out. Or I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
Well, they had the Evil Dead game that came out that I think was $40 or something.
People like that game too.
And I hear it's solid. So I think this is that same game, but I'd almost rather have like where you get to be the killer clowns and you basically get to go out like what's the alien game? Humanity, where you're an alien and you go around and terrorize humanity.
Anyways, destroy humans.
That. Destroy all humans. Have it more like that, but instead have it be Killer Clowns from Outer Space, so you get to do all the fun,
Which it seems like you're going to get to do both in this game. Like you're either going to get to be the aliens or the people trying to get rid of. From what I can tell, you get to play both sides. I haven't really seen a lot as far as gameplay come out on it. I might have to keep an eye on it because, I mean, I am going to play this game at some point. It's just a matter of price point and availability right off the bat,
Right.
That'll be the tough part.
So it looks like you can have 3 people co-op as the clowns, and then you can have people go against there. So I wonder if they're going to have a higher, like, instead of the typical 4 versus 1, I wonder if it's going to be more like 16 versus 3 or something like that, where it's a bigger game with more people.
I think that would be pretty awesome.
It'd be insane having that much things going on, but it might make for a different experience rather than just doing a Dead by Daylight.
It would actually. That's a good point, because if you did do it as like a 16-person server instead of like that normal 4-piece or 6-piece, right? having that amount of people trying to work together at the same time you'd get some shenanigans.
Okay, yeah. So sorry, I should have read this before we went live on it, because now here I am going through it. Yeah, so it's basically 3 versus 7, which is still
that
pretty
sounds
meaty.
awesome.
Where if you've got 11 friends, 10 friends, I can do math, I swear. That's pretty good. You all get up and just like do it, and
3v7 fights. Randomly generated map layout and multitude of tactical opportunities for both teams. I don't know. This could be cool. It's such a weird IP for, like, they probably did the right thing in making this like a PvPvE game, That's probably good on them for sure.
So sticking to kind of that kind of 4 versus blah blah blah. I know there's a name for it, whatever they call it. Well, Ghostbusters has their own similar kind of thing coming out called Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Same kind of idea from what I know of it. This gives even less to go out. I guess it's already out. How about that?
Out. Yeah.
I mean,
interesting. I will say I know nothing about this game. I haven't heard anything about this game.
Let's see. 4.
Internet connection required. Online multiplayer.
Yeah, it's a 4 versus 1 setup with different things. As you play along, you unlock more stuff. I mean, like a typical game. So, I mean, it's cool. It's Ghostbusters. So if you love that world, which I've been a fan of since the original movie, so it's like, I'll check it out. Shoot, let's go get some Slimer action done.
I was gonna say, what do you think this game's running?
What do you mean?
How much do you think it?
$40.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, sorry.
Okay. I just saw that it's available on Epic, so I was just like, I'm gonna look.
It looks good. I mean, not any groundbreaking graphics, but it's cool that you get to fight ghosts and various possessed objects and stuffs, and you get to play as ghosts, so you could probably do some cool stuff on that side of it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, not nearly as hype for this one. Killer Clowns, yes. Ghostbusters.
General reviews are okay on it. 4.3 out of 5 out of customer feedback.
That's pretty good, except that I have not heard anything about it.
It's weird when they release games like that. IP of Ghostbusters should be something that like everybody should be like fully aware of, especially when you're going to have the sequel to Afterlife coming out this year. It just seems like that would be something you'd be like, hey, you watched Afterlife, you like that movie, here's a video game you could play until the next movie. Like they really should have pushed it, but you're right, they didn't talk about it much.
And in fact, have we heard anything about any Ghostbuster game ever?
That's true.
Like,
that's true.
Why aren't these bigger IPs?
I don't know. Maybe it's just Ghostbusters, one of those weird things where like people know of it, but maybe it's just not in their conscious, zeitgeist or whatever.
You would think that like
in their frame of.
Yeah, I mean, but you would think with the amount of money that like Ghostbusters has to throw around on any given day, that their marketing would be a little bit heavier for the video game side of stuff.
Yeah.
What they need to do is make a VR version. Like, give me the VR version of Ghostbusters, and then maybe I'm gonna jump on this party bus. It seems like it would work out better in my opinion.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool. You're just going as the new recruit, and you're like, whoa, what the?
Yeah, and you just got your proto packs and stuff on, and
don't cross the streams. Don't cross the streams.
Yeah. I don't know. Not nearly as hyped for that one as I am for Killer Clowns, and that's saying something because I'm not insanely hyped for either one of them, really.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see how Killer Clowns.
Yeah,
whatever.
We will see, won't we?
We'll see, or we won't, because are we going to spend money for that IP, or are we going to go to something else?
No, but Epic's pretty good about throwing trash games for free, so maybe one day.
That's it. I did pick up the Evil Dead game for free off Epic. So I
Yeah.
just never.
Yeah,
went.
I got a bunch to Christmas time. Like they were giving away like 17. I
Yeah.
got a bunch of games.
It was like every other week or so. They
Oh,
were
it was
like,
like
"Here's
every
another
day they're
game.
giving away
Here's
something.
another game." What are you guys doing? We're just. And this is just
I'm
games
getting them.
that
I won't play most of them, but I got them.
I'm gonna fill up my thing. Solar powered headphones will relieve your daily charging woes.
Will they?
Pretty neat idea, right?
What if I live in Seattle?
Well, here's what's great about them. They convert both natural and artificial light into power. The new Adidas RP2-02 SOL, which stands for, can't say it because this is the PG episode.
Yeah.
SOL, stuff out of luck, But yeah, they basically take any kind of light, turn it into charging. So that's pretty dope, but at a cost of $229.
Yeah. And I mean, as you can see, I like the dark. If it wasn't for this key light in front of me, it would be dark in here. And I like my little basement cave. There's a reason there's no windows in here.
Yeah.
So people can't hear me scream. And my little sister, on the other hand, who's in the room right here above me, little different. But otherwise, I've got some soundproofing up, and
yeah,
I like the darkness.
I like the darkness.
It could be midnight down here.
It's a cool idea, though. Like for those who get out and about, like to have a solid pair of headphones that you don't have to charge because they're holding a charge or something at all times.
I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays, right? For two reasons. First of all, most people aren't going to want to wear full over-the-ear headphones on a normal basis, right? I love my AirPods a lot, but it's because they stay out of my way. I can wear one at a time. I can still do stuff while wearing them, listening to them. They're convenient, and I already charge my phone. With all the wireless charging options and everything out there nowadays, like really, what's the point?
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's just like, was this necessary? Like probably not. And for $230, I ain't gonna be your guinea pig. Are they waterproof?
Man, it doesn't have more than just
They're
saying that, hey,
and splash proof. So no, they're waterproof.
Not waterproof. Good for listening to your podcasts on those. So if you're in a cubicle, go ahead and get a pair of these and let us know how they work for you.
Yeah, I'd really like to know. I really, really would like to know.
And how long does that, because isn't there something where if you continuously charge something, it deteriorates the battery over time?
Probably, but that's how I do with most of the stuff that I own.
So. I mean, don't we all? Like, we just kind of like, oh, it's at 83%. I need to plug in.
Yeah. I'm constantly like, mine will go from 100 to 30, back to 70, back to 19, and then it gets plugged in for the night,
Yeah.
But I own this iPhone, and I'm going to try to keep it as long as I can because it's like one of the first phones in a long time that I just own outright. And I can do whatever I want with, right?
Huh.
I've had this iPhone for like 2.5 years now. Still good.
And it will be still good for a while.
Maybe. I dropped it like 3 times this past week.
Come on.
Hacky sacked it once, twice with my bare foot. Hurt like hell.
Nothing like, I'll say that crunch. Oh. Not the best move.
No.
So this dude decided to make a functional mini lightsaber, and he's going to be adding a color swapping upgrade to it. This engineer and YouTuber, just called the Hacksmith. Pretty freaking dope name, if you ask me. He makes a bunch of little pop culture kind of stuff, like a flying version of Thor's hammer, Batman's grappling gun, so on and so forth. Well, he made a video a while back with a functioning lightsaber that actually puts out like a crazy amount of, I guess it's fire.
My guess is like butane or something.
It's legit, and it's like pretty freaking dope to watch. But he made one that's like handheld size.
Yeah, and he's only charging $50.
Yeah. It's like, hey, if you need to light your cigarette, do it in style.
Go to the Canada to United States. You can buy boxer shorts from him.
Oh,
interesting.
Right. Episode 69.
Tools. Yeah. Yeah. Where's the lightsaber? Hacksmith mini saber, $50. Butane powered, great for camping. It's pretty sweet looking. We'll say. Yeah, it's just a big butane torch.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, I would be disappointed in. He did his Hacksmith Industries, like the Stark Industries logo. That's cool. I mean, it looks cool.
Great A nerd shit right there, man.
That's neat. I'm gonna bookmark this website for later research.
Do I need it?
That's cool, but for real though, I want the lightsaber that cuts the bread and toast it as I'm cutting it, right? That's what I want. That's You're just gonna light my loaf of bread on fire. We're gonna be in a
it's like, how fast do you do it? Like, is there some skill involved where if you go too fast, it's not toasty, it's still just kind of bread? If you do it too slow, do you just set the world up? Like, I imagine there's a little bit of skill to that.
Yeah, well, put it in my hands and I'll slowly but surely.
One slice at a time. I will figure this out. You've gone through 20 loaves, Toby.
Well, I would start out with like a Wonder Bread loaf that's already pre-sliced, right? So I don't really have to worry about the cutting through the bread, right? But I at least can get the consistency of toast.
Yeah.
And then I could, upgrade to like a French bread or like a full, loaf of sourdough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got to have one before I could do it. So
I got to have it. Moving on from toasty bread to custom caskets. A company by the name of Nashville Casket Sales will make you your casket in any way you want it. Whether it's a Ghostbuster casket that has proton pack on it, or if you're a sports fan, God. Could you imagine loving your job that much where you'd put your...
This one is a Dale Earnhardt. Oh, here's a Frozen one. That seems kind of sad. And the Paw Patrol one? That seems a little... That.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, those are like...
I didn't even think about that, but... Oh, my God. This one's actually got a picture of a child on it. Oh, this got dark real fast. This one's a small one. It's a Lego, but it's built for a child. Oh, God, bro. What have we done? I should have looked at this website before I told you I wanted to talk about this.
Hey, kids die. It happens all the time.
Yeah, come on. We don't want to talk about that. Anyways, what would you put on your casket?
What would you put on your tombstone?
I know exactly what I'm putting on my casket.
Yeah, I can't. Like right now, I couldn't tell you.
I'm putting a picture of someone looking like they're crawling out of a casket on my casket. Just in case in the future there are grave robbers and they think I'm rich, when they get down to my casket, it'll look like I'm already coming out of it. And they'll be like,
1865?
No, like not doing this today. Right? I'm definitely not putting Alabama Roll Tide on it.
Roll Tide! You know what I want? I just want an LCD monitor that will continuously play the movies that I loved, even though I'm dead.
That's what you want on your tombstone, right? Because if it's in your casket,
that's kind of cool.
That'd be dope. That'd be cool. I don't want meet me at the beach, right? Like
meet me in the beach.
Like you're already in the beach. The school bus ones or the camouflage ones look comfy though. Like if I was a vampire, this would be what I slept in. Is this camo? You can't see me. Cushy casket.
One guy's got his own picture in there, so when you open up the coffin, it's like, oh, there's a skeleton, but that's what he used to look like.
Okay, yeah.
Not as terrifying, I guess, when you're like, oh, he used to be a person. I don't know. Custom caskets are kind of a weird thing because it's like, what does it matter at that
this
point?
one
You're
has a
dead.
picture of Jesus on it. That can be great. You probably shouldn't rebury Jesus. That seems like a no-no. He usually comes back. Maybe that was their way of like being like, maybe in 3 days we'll get our Nana back.
Yeah, she was only 102, but yeah, we want her to come back. She wants to come back, right? Oh gosh,
Like I'm under the full like once I die, do not spend this kind of money on me.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Don't. Like I'd be cool with like a pillow because I get vertigo, so I don't want my head to lay all the way back. But like otherwise, put me in a pine box. You don't have to put me in a box. In reality, if you're gonna spend the money, put me in one of those tree pod things.
Yeah, those things are cool.
I want to be like the Deku tree later on,
Yeah, somebody can come and hang out underneath you, your great grandchildren, or people who knew you once upon a time.
Yeah, like come on. I don't know. This DeWalt Tools one's pretty cool.
I mean, they're all cool looking for what they are. Like you could tell, okay, you could see what some folks were into. Like the money stuff is kind of silly because it's just like ironic that they get money printed on a box that costs a lot of money. A Trans Am.
Yeah, that you can't take to your grave. Yeah, I don't know. That seems weird.
Hey, hit us up on the socials. Let us know.
I really don't like the Blues Clues ones and stuff though. Like, don't like. I don't know. I guess as a kid, you're not really going to be looking at casket sales, but like as an advertisement, don't show that you've done so many for children. I think
it's like a quarter of them are like, oh, that one's got the kid on it.
This one actually has the child's picture on it.
So whoever's digging up that grave is like, oh, we made a mistake. What have we done with our lives?
Huge mistake. Okay, we got to get off of this. This got dark. It's not where I wanted the first show back to go to. But I wanted to talk about it until we started talking about it, and then I realized this was not good.
We made a mistake. So yeah, for future reference, if for Toby or I, don't waste the money on a custom casket. Don't. Have a killer wake. Like use the money you'd spend on a casket and throw a hell of a party and say some good words or bad words.
Shots and listen to metal music for me, please.
Yeah.
I told Daisy the 2 songs that I wanted to play at my funeral.
Every Rose Has a Thorn by Poison, of course, and then Blue Dabba Dee by Eiffel 65.
Okay. Now we're talking. Right? Now we're talking. Okay, I'm recalculating the songs I want. We will come back to this at a later date when we're not looking at children's casket. Please.
Oh my goodness. Skipping ahead. So you actually brought this one to my attention, which doesn't happen too terribly often, but when it's done, it's always delightful.
Don't tell them that. I do stuff for this show. I'm here.
Yes, I know. But I'm saying, like, normally I'm the one who's going, hey, Mountain Dew, as they like to do. They play around with stuff. They're coming out with a Baja Blast hot sauce.
I'm in for this.
Nothing about it seems wrong.
No, it's got to be sweet, right? But they did it with habaneros. So it's definitely got some spice to it, which is good. And, oh my goodness. There are exactly 750 bottles of the sauce available for the lucky winners. Open now through February 8th. Participants can enter the hot sauce sweepstakes in order to win one of the limited edition bottles. To enter and possibly win, participants must fill out this form.
Oh, God damn it. There's no form. Let's see.
Oh, let us know what you'll be smothering.
Select an option below to let us know what you'll be smothering with Mountain Dew Baja Blast hot sauce, and you'll be entered for a chance to win your own bottle. So there's like an egg bagel sandwich. There's like a burrito. There's some kind of street tacos, and then there's hot wings.
I'm not doing hot wings.
Hot Wings seems like the winner, right?
What's no, Hot Wings definitely was not the winner. That's what you chose?
No, I guess I could do that. Do that. Burrito or tacos is what I'm doing. Hey, what's my birthday?
September.
Oh,
I want to say the 15th, but I don't think.
hey, dude, that's pretty good.
Okay. Because I was like, it's not the 15th. Like, your birthday's on the 15th, you idiot. Like, stop getting the two mixed.
Is your birthday on the 15th?
Yeah.
Dang, look at that.
November,
we're both 15
baby.
boys. Who would have known that we were 7 years and 2 months behind each other?
Yeah. When you said I turned 40, I was like, no, you don't. You did.
I'm such an old guy. I accept. I am entered to win. Hopefully one of us gets a bottle of this strange mercurial.
You don't want to accept the other one.
Oh, Instacart commercial. That's fun.
Entry received. Check your inbox for more details. All right. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. We have applied for the Baja Blast. I'm hoping just not a lot of people know it. The problem is I saw this one on Facebook because 9 News, our local news station, is who posted it, which means now more people know about it, including myself, than need to know about it, right? I really, really hope, for the sake of not only like just the pure joy I would get out of Baja Blast hot sauce, but for the podcast as a whole.
For the podcast.
If we win one of these Baja Blast hot sauce, it will make us famous. Not saying that that's where I want to be, but if that's what I get famous for throughout my life, is because I won one of these Baja Blast hot sauces and we chugged it on a podcast, then that's okay with me, right? I don't need any money, but I want to go viral.
I'm okay with them releasing a limited edition bottles, but they should really just release it as a hot sauce.
Yeah, I'm curious on why they didn't, because I buy the hot sauce from like King Supers or whatever from the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, I buy the hot Taco Bell sauce all the time. Even though I have, like, every time I go to Taco Bell, they're like, any sauce? I'm like, as much hot sauce as you can legally give me without getting fired. And like all the time, you can hear the person that's doing the drive-thru like kind of laugh. And like, I usually get loaded down with Taco Bell hot sauce.
You got that one drawer that's nothing but hot sauce packets.
Yeah, it's hot sauce and like
Wendy's barbecue sauce.
No. It's hard to keep the stupid little like plastic tubs. Right? And like Daisy and I don't really do ketchup, like actively put ketchup on anything, right? So we don't usually have ketchup. But it's like a lot of honey packets. There's a bunch of stuff in there now we could probably get rid of, to be totally honest, because I just don't use condiments that much.
It just sits in there, and then you're like, oh, wait, I could go for this, and you can go and you use it, but then you're like, how long has this been in there?
Yeah, probably a while. Yeah. But anyways, I want this hot sauce. I want to try it.
Absolutely.
I want to.
So from one saucy dude to another saucy thing, syrup for your cereal, a company by the name of Syrup, CERUP, has come up with this kind of brilliant, depending on the person, idea where it's a flavoring for your cereal. So you have your bowl of cereal and, oh man, it'd be great if I could add like an orange marmalade to it.
There is a lot of these.
It's a surprisingly large amount of flavors.
Oh my goodness. Great.
Do you want to run through them real quick, or do you want them to surprise themselves?
No, I will run through these real fast.
All right, run till that.
Peaches and cream. Sounds awesome. Raspberry. Orange marmalade. Sweet lady marmalade. Lemon cream. Coffee. Apple cinnamon. Probably fire. Blueberry. Probably banging. Banana cream.
Intriguing.
Interesting choice here, right? This is for the Raisin Bran and you know, the Chex Mix that you don't want to put sugar into, so you just pour syrup. Okay, now they've thrown me for a loop because I read apple cinnamon off the bottle. It was technically cinnamon toast, but then there is an apple cinnamon, but they both show the same picture of apple cinnamon. Are they showing me that there is no difference?
Or did somebody marketing mess up and accidentally put the wrong picture?
Did you guys screw up?
Toast? I imagine cinnamon toast got a buttery taste to it. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah. They're both going to be delicious, right? But one has apple. One you're going to taste the apple. Which the apple cinnamon is probably great. Because cinnamon Chex is like the best. Or cinnamon life. Cinnamon life. Oh my goodness gracious. Love that stuff. They have a strawberry. They have a marshmallow. A peanut butter. And a chocolate hazelnut. What's that, just Nutella?
Yeah.
This is God
damn, it all sounds so freaking good.
I hate to say it, it's just not for me, right? Like, I buy cereal that I want to taste the cereal. So it's like if I got Fruity Pebbles, I don't want to be putting peaches and cream syrup all over it, right? Maybe I do. I don't know.
That's the thing. Until you try it, you might go like, yeah, I like my, brand flakes, generic brand flakes. But man, it's so boring. I really wish I could add something to it. And then you're like, oh, for $7, I could get some strawberry syrup. And hey, it kicks it up enough where, I'm eating healthy.
You would have had me better if you would have like told me that it was going to change my milk, right? Which, I mean, inevitably it is going to change my milk, but like if I put strawberry syrup in my cereal, I want to have strawberry milk at the end.
Yes. Oh, Frosted Flakes just released this strawberry milkshake cereal, and it does exactly that. Like once you get through this, and it's fine, it's Frosted Flakes, tastes a little bit like a strawberry milkshake, but once you get to the milk, woo, so good.
Oh yeah, see, I think you told me about that, and I about creamed my pants. Do we still get keep our rating for that one? Yeah, cream my jeans.
It's somebody got some cream and they put it in my jean.
Look, that'll play in nostalgia today because stuff being said like that is what keeps you in the PG, but keeps the adults happy too.
Right. You gotta kind of push it a little bit.
Out of all these, what are you trying first? What are you taking the chance on?
I've always been a fan of like orange marmalade.
Okay.
You could call me Paddington if you like. I'm cool with that. I'm a little teddy bear. But that's probably the one I would go to out of all those.
See, it's hard because there's no doubt I'm gonna like all of these. Like I could probably do without the peanut butter flavor syrup.
Yeah.
And probably the marshmallow flavor syrup.
Sure.
But I think first I'm going straight to that banana cream. Like I want that banana pudding on my Frosted Flakes, right? That's the one I'm taking the chance on.
It's intriguing.
It's all currently unavailable.
Yeah, it's all unavailable except for strawberry, but like $7 and you get a, what is it? 6 ounce. That's
Can I order it from their website?
No, you do it through Amazon, unfortunately.
Well, what the heck?
What the hell?
Huh. That's cool though. I don't know. It's an unnecessary thing, right? People are gonna make their buck.
Yeah. Just make sure you refrigerate after opening. Thank you.
We have to refrigerate our syrup. You should refrigerate syrup.
Yeah, we do.
Prevents mold. I learned that with pure maple syrup.
Speaking of mold, Chia Pet is putting out a very fun, creepy Chia Pet with the ancient evil of Cthulhu.
I'm okay with this.
I mean, it's so much goofy fun like this where you're like, it's cool looking by itself, and then you add the weird Chia Pet hair onto it.
Yeah, because it gives them a perfect little fro. The thing I love about this, right, is like people don't get to see this side of you sometimes, but you put titles for all these news articles, and this one says just add water for darkness. And I love that. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's for you, nobody else,
I
really.
know, it's so good. Oh, bro, it looks so good. It looks so cool.
Just
I
one to
want to
two
grow
weeks. You
cilantro
two
out of
could
his
have
face. So.
fucking fantastic. See, that's the thing. Like, you could spread those seeds wherever you want. You don't necessarily have to do it where hair would be. You could put it on his tentacles. You could put it on his eyebrows. You could make it look
Nah, he looks like Bob
nice.
Ross and Eldritch Terror.
Bow before me. But here's a happy tree.
Yeah, yeah. Now available is the Chia Pets version of the Great Old One. All right, how much?
I think it's like 20 to 30 bucks. I don't know. I didn't look it up.
$22.99.
All right, all right.
Oh, bro, you can buy a lot of these. All right. So Cthulhu, you can buy a Chucky one, which has both Chucky faces on either side. That's awesome. It's got like his messed up Chucky face and then the Chucky doll face. Elvira, which looks a lot like Elvira. Gremlins, which just puts a sweater on the gremlin, but do not put water on that thing after midnight. Or at all. No, you can't feed them after midnight.
Can't feed them after midnight, but isn't it always after midnight? So that kind of is a weird,
Yeah.
do you have to go by time zone? Like, because here in Colorado, it's only, 8:30, so we're okay. But if you go over to Ireland, it's well after that. And what time after that can you start feeding it? Is it afternoon? So you got from noon to midnight that you could feed them?
Is it
When
only
do you
Eastern
feed?
Standard Time?
Exactly. Like, how do you know when to feed these things? Is it from place of origin where it was born? Because that's where it's time clock got
Anyways,
sets. Like,
you can
how do
also
you know
buy
when to
it,
feed a gremlin? And if you get
Pennywise.
it wet, then you got little cute gremlins that you could sell. So in theory, you could have a hell of a business if you're willing to torture your damn little mogwai, because you're just making more mogwai. So you could sell those mogwais off for, hey, $50 a pop, and you too could have this weird ass Furby. So let's go. Just make sure the light's a big one. But if they do turn into a gremlin, it's probably the best way to take them out. A little with the old school disposable camera.
I
You
have
know
a
what I'm talking
shotgun.
about.
Take them out like you took Old Yeller out.
I
You
love you, Yeller.
can, you can also buy Pennywise, Jack Skellington, which seems absolutely ridiculous. Michael Myers, a screaming Pennywise, which is
I love Austin Powers.
yeah. Zombie dragging looks pretty cool. Zombie restless arm. Elvira's the expensive one at $30.
Yeah, that's just
and 2 cents.
She probably gets that 2 cents goes back to.
I hope so.
She deserves it.
Yeah, that lady's a jewel.
God, she's terrific.
Those are cool. If someone buys me one of those, I will grow it out.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, Chia Pets are just one of those things that have been around forever that is just kind of a fun gift to get.
We've all had one at one point or another. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's had to have had. It's like the clapper when you were growing up, right? Like, eventually you found a clapper, whether it was in the discount bin at Big Lots or the thrift store or whatever. Like, you had to try that thing out. Like, it never worked the way that you wanted.
We got the clapper once, but that's for episode 70. Moving on. So McDonald's is getting into the gaming scene with their own gaming chair. And this one is great because they make it out of this cool like vinyl, so you can like the grease will slide right off. But there's like a cup holder for your drink, but then they also have a fry holder for your fries, and it looks like they got a place that you can stick your nuggets or your burger. So that's pretty dope.
I'm sorry. What? The zine.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I pulled this from. That's not necessarily who it is. I think this is just the news station, but that's
got the vapors.
Calling it the McCrispy or something. McDonald's coming out with the McCrispy Ultimate Gaming Chair.
Yo, this thing is kind of sick.
Yeah.
This is I kind of
they've got a warmer built into it to help keep your burgers warm while gaming.
I wonder what else it'll keep warm. I like the towel rack underneath.
Ew. Hey.
This is sweet.
Yeah, it's the little extensions that I like on it, where it's like, hey,
Yeah,
you
the
can
little
have an
side
extra,
tables and stuff.
8 inches of space on each side. Indeed.
Cup holder sits alongside a circular 10 dubbed a heat zone that helps to keep burgers warm while gaming. How and where do I buy this?
Yeah, it's just looking at the same thing. How do I go about getting the McCrispy gaming?
It just says design.
Let's see. Ultimate gaming chair created by fast food chain McDonald's in a limited edition of 4.
The chair, the chair was produced in a limited edition of 4 with 2 gifted to UK gamers, Manny and Els the Witch. McDonald's is set to give away another one of the chairs via a Facebook competition to celebrate the launch of the McCrispy. So are we getting a new sandwich then, I assume?
Is this? I feel like this is a UK based thing.
Yeah, well, it's done by Croatian furniture brand.
Oh.
Oh wait, what's similar name? Never mind. Dude, it seems like I don't know if it's because like the US has weird things to go along with it, but the Europe and stuff get a lot of like cool competition prize things that never ever come out here.
It's a little unfair, isn't it?
Sometimes. I mean, look, I'm sure I don't know how many people say it's unfair that they're not American. There are definitely places I'm glad that I'm not a citizen of, but America's not at the top of my list of places I want to be part of. Like it just so happens that I'm here. And I like being American, but I also hate it.
Yeah, there's aspects of it.
I hate it even more that I don't get this McCrispy chair. It's infuriating. Infuriating. I still feel like I said that wrong. I know I didn't, but it feels like I did.
You ready to do a cereal quiz?
Am I ever? I've been pretty bad at the quizzes lately, though, so I'm kind of, I'm a little scared.
I mean, scared's good. It's an emotion that means that you're.
Okay, you did this quiz, right? Is there a score at the end of it?
There will be a score.
How did you do?
When I did it, I think I got 100%.
I mean, you are the serial killers.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. 20 questions. This is off of quizdaily.com. Which cereal is magically delicious? And I can give you multiple choice if you like.
No, I don't want to do multiple. Magically delicious is Lucky Charms, right?
Boom. Is that your final answer?
That's final answer. Especially after you said boom.
Did I give it away? I don't know. All right. On to the next one. Frosted Flakes are not just good. They're what?
Great.
Hey.
Did I say it with enough ease? Do I get that one right?
It's ours, actually. It's great.
Oh, yeah. Well, dang.
Hot dog. What cereal is known for its slogan, Snap, Crackle, Pop slogan? Wait, I said that twice.
Yeah, Rice Krispies. I'm about to bang this one.
Yeah, you're snap, crackle, and popping your way into the next question, which is, what kid's cereal starts its slogan with Silly Rabbit?
Tricks are for kids. I saw a thing the other day that said that tricks didn't actually turn into balls. We just got too old to see the fruit shapes. I mean,
I like it.
If there was ever something that showed that we were living in a simulation, it's something like that.
That's funny.
It's 100% something like that.
That's the one thing that like cracks the code.
Yeah, the kids are like, why do our parents keep saying that they're just balls now? And when they were kids, they were fruit shapes. Like they are fruit shapes, idiots.
Yeah, exactly. They're saying it for what it is, and we're not. Oh, that's trippy. Which cereal is the breakfast of champions?
Wheaties.
Wheaties. Look at you, man. You are on a roll.
When's the last time you had Wheaties?
It had to be when I was a kid, and even at that, we were more of a Frosted Flakes house.
Yeah, it's because I had to put sugar on Wheaties to make it anywhere close to Frosted Flakes. And the only positive about that is when you got a little extra sugar in the bottom of the bowl that you get to scoop out.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
there may not be anything sugar flavored better than milk and sugar at the bottom of a cereal bowl.
And what is Sonny cuckoo for?
Cocoa Puffs.
Hey, man, you were all nervous and shit, and so far you're flawless.
Wow, you're just dropping all the cuss words, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
It's.
You just said the S word.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to beep that out.
Do it. Which cereal has the taste?
Beep. Oh, I thought you were gonna cuss again. You've been doing it so often. I just couldn't. I just wanted to make sure.
Right. Comes second nature when you just don't think about it. Which cereal has the taste you can see?
Ooh. The taste you can see.
What, multiple choice?
Yeah, I almost want to say it's going to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
All right, I'll give you multiple choice. Honeycomb, Corn Pops, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, or Corn Flakes?
Yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Nailed it.
Because it's got the rings. I was like, I think I know this one, but that one's a good one. That one kind of throws you for a loop, right?
Yeah. What is Count Chocula's tagline?
Oh.
Multiple choice?
Yes, please.
I want to eat your cereal. The cereal is batty. It's bloody good. The cereal with a bite.
It's gotta be C or D, right? But I don't know if they'd have put bloody. And the last one, just all of them seem like you're setting me up for failure. I'm gonna go D, final answer.
The cereal with a bite.
Yes. Oh, got one wrong.
I want to eat your cereal.
There was no way it was gonna be that one. Like, that seems like the too good of a gimme.
Right?
Okay.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey was which brand's tagline in the 1970s?
Kicks.
That is not an option. You want multiple choice? I mean, naturally, you want no multiple choice.
Yeah, it's gotta be Kicks or
Alphabets, Waffle-Os, Life Cereal, or Quisp?
I'm gonna go with Life.
Hey, there you go.
I was like, in my mind, I was like, maybe no, Kicks was. Oh, maybe we'll get a Kicks question later. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and debate it with myself.
That comes later. Gotta have my pops is the slogan for which brand name?
Pops?
I'll give you the multiple choice.
Is it called Corn Pops?
Corn Pops, Reese's Puffs, Cocoa Pops, or Honey Puffs?
It's Corn Pops. And I think it still comes in the like aluminum foil baggie. And those things, when they go stale, oh my goodness, man. When that cereal goes stale, it is the worst.
It's probably the quickest one that goes stale.
It really seems like it's stale out of that aluminum bag that they put it in.
They do it on purpose. Which cereal bet that you can't eat 3? That was clunky. Which cereal bets that you can't eat 3? Shredded wheat, blueberry, chocolate checks, or raisin bran?
What?
Mm-hmm.
You can't eat 3?
Mm-hmm.
It's cereal. I'm gonna eat 3 in a spoonful. This makes no sense. Give me multiple choice one more time. Sorry.
Sure. It's shredded wheat, blueberry, chocolate checks, or raisin bran.
It's not raisin bran. It can't be. And it's not blueberry. I'm gonna go shredded wheat.
There you go.
Is it shredded wheat?
It is shredded wheat. Originally, back in the day, they were actually these massive, like, bricks of things that would fall out of the...
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah. Not like the smaller...
And if
nicer...
it's not frosted shredded wheat, you're right. I'm probably not going to eat 3. Like, that's gross.
You're like, what am I doing?
Where's my syrup?
Yeah, exactly. What does Fruit Loops Toucan Sam say?
Something with the nose.
You want the multiple
choice?
Taste the rainbow. Enjoy every bite. Enter the world of crunch. Just follow your nose.
Just follow your nose. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, I know it's something with the nose, and I'll know it when I hear it.
Follow your nose. Follow your nose.
Follow your nose.
Which cereal is kid tested and parent approved?
That's the Kix one.
That's your...
I was like, I know it's something because the parents like it too. Kid tested, mothers approved.
Yeah.
Back
when... And then they changed it to parent approved. Yeah. Dads are dads.
And you might not technically have a mother. You might have 2 fathers. Well, I mean, technically, you have a mother. Or had one. We're not getting into that one.
No, we're moving on. What does Raisin Bran have in every box?
Say that again.
What does Raisin Bran have in every box?
A scoop of raisins.
I'll read off the multiple choice. 1 complete meal, 2 scoops of raisins, love or serious crunch?
I mean, probably love, maybe. But you did put raisins in a cereal. And not only did you put raisins, but you put 2 scoops of raisins, apparently.
2 scoops. Get those scoops, like you're thinking, oh, a scoop's pretty massive, but really it's like these little...
It's like the old like raisin boxes you used to get, but it's just 2 of those.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I like Raisin Bran.
Me too.
It's good. I like raisins though.
Raisins, I like to tease the kids and say, hey, it's nature's candy. And they're like, what? What? Anyway.
Yeah, they said that about prunes too, but they were lying. Prunes are gross.
Oof. I'll get right through you. What cereal wants you to be happy and be healthy?
Give me my multiple choice.
Honey Nut Cheerios, Honeycomb.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah. I don't ever think about Honey Nut Cheerios. They're very underrated.
It's so freaking good, man.
For a long time, we've done a cereal episode, I think, right?
Yeah. Probably.
Yes,
yeah.
I believe we have. Serial killer episode. Like for a long time, Frosted Cheerios was like my favorite cereal of all time.
Pretty freaking good.
So good.
I don't know. Cheerios is one of those brands that just is solid. You can't go wrong with Cheerios.
No, because even basic Cheerios still taste pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, considering it's like a regular donut. Like you'll never just order it because that's what you're craving. But after you have one, you're like, that's not the worst donut I've ever had.
Yeah. And you're like, I feel better about eating that one rather than another bowl. What cereal slogan was once, we eat what we like?
Nope.
Isn't that a bad slogan? That's a bad slogan. But your multiple choices: Apple Jacks, Sesame Street cereal, Golden Crisp, or Captain Crunch Crunch Berries.
We eat what we like. What was the second choice?
Sesame Street cereal.
Am I supposed to know that? But I'm gonna say that.
You want to go with Sesame Street?
Yeah.
Sorry, pal.
Yeah. I didn't want to give it to you.
It was Apple Jacks. Yeah. It's a bad slogan.
It's a bad slogan. Maybe that was before I was born. There was a time where Apple Jacks was all one color.
Yeah, it did kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all one color coming out the backside.
Yeah. So is everything else. Except for Pepto-Bismol. That stuff turns black.
It's wild. Which cereal boasts I stay crunchy, even in milk?
Give me the multiple choice on this one.
Okay. Cookie Crisp, Captain Crunch, Apple Cinnamon Cheerios. Apple Cinnamon Cheerios. Let me say that right.
Cheerios.
And Special K.
Special K cereal. Oh, man. That brought a whole new meaning in 2023 when people want Special K.
Hmm.
I don't know this one either. What was the first one?
Cookie Crisp.
I'm going to say Cookie Crisp.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably Special K.
That is not the right answer. It was Captain Crunch.
Yeah, that's a stupid slogan too.
Yeah.
And it doesn't because it eventually gets soggy after your mouth bleeds all over it.
It gets soggy with blood.
Yeah.
Which cereal rocks your whole mouth?
What are these cereals?
I mean, when you have 20 questions, you got to fill it with some
give me
nonsense.
my multiple choice here. I'm really falling off though.
Fruity Pebbles, S'mores, Banana Nut Crunch, or Captain Crunch Peanut Butter Crunch.
I mean, I have to say, but like Fruity Pebbles, right? But I also never heard the Fruity Pebbles slogan say that.
Is that what you want to go with?
Yeah, I'm gonna, because it's got pebbles and you insinuated rock.
Yeah. You nailed it. It's Fruity Pebbles. It's weird how many like cereals have a slogan that you're like, wait, that's its slogan?
Yeah, because some of the cereal slogans like popped off, right? Like, the Snap Crackle Pop thing and follow your nose and
follow your nose. Kid tested, mothers approved.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, parents approved.
Yes. Huh. What question number were we on?
This is 19. Which brand gives you crazy energy?
All of them because they're full of sugar. Multiple choice, please.
Yes. Quangaroos, Quasi Cow, Quisp, or Buzz Blasts?
I'm going to say Quisp because that's actually, I think, a real cereal.
That's a good call because that's the winner.
Yeah.
And the final question of 2023. Which cereal was advertised as the grains that are shot from guns?
What?
Right. Which cereal was advertised as the grains that are shot from guns? Is it Quaker Puffed Rice Cereal, Waffle Crisp, Shredded Wheat, or Cracklin' Oat Bran?
Cracklin' Oat Bran. I'm going to say whatever the first one was, the puffed rice.
Puffed one?
But Quaker Oat Brand or whatever, I have heard a lot about that cereal, and I am going to have to try that cereal.
Yes, you were correct. We're going with the Quaker Puffed Rice Cereal.
Yeah. Not good, by the way. I've had that cereal. Some of those were not good.
Let's see your results. You got 85%.
I was gonna say I missed 2.
Which is 17 out of 20.
I missed 3.
Which is pretty damn solid, my friend.
Yeah, well, some of it, there's a reason my name isn't Cereal Filter.
Cereal guy.
Yeah, I love cereal. And I got all the ones that weren't, well, not I get Captain Crunch or the Apple Jacks one. But both of those could have been pre-Toby. So.
Yeah. And a lot of those were because, like, I think after a while they just kind of stopped doing. Like, I think now Captain Crunch's big, like, slogan is Crunchitize me, Captain, which isn't even a slogan.
That's what I grew up with.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's just something they say. That's not necessarily a good slogan. But at any rate, good job, pal.
Alas, we've come to. What have we come to failing cereal?
You didn't fail. You passed. That's a solid B+.
That's a B. It's not good for me. I don't like it.
You know,
we've done a cereal episode. Cereal episode 2.0 incoming.
Yeah, we talked a lot about cereal on this episode, surprisingly.
Yeah, well, cereal's good. Guess what? Cereal's still good. My stomach hates the milk, but I love it. So that brings us to the last segment of our beautiful roundabout show, which I will say, I'm surprised it's went off the way that it has, because we had some reservations coming back to this where I looked at my computer and I was like, I don't know how this stuff works. I don't know how it works. But we do know how it works because we've come to the point where we get to talk about some nostalgia. And this week, for episode 69, the nice episode, we're going to keep it PG. Today, we're going to talk about some PG movies we think should have had a higher rating.
Yeah, do you want to give a brief little rundown on the ratings?
Yeah, so movie ratings. I had to look this up, right? I know we've talked about it in the past with video games and when the ESRB was made, but movie ratings have not always been around as long as movies have, right? Movie rating began in 1968. That was when the Motion Picture Association of America.
They were so close. It should have been 1969. Am I right?
Yeah, summer of 1969, man. Contrary to popular belief, which I found this out while looking this up, putting your movie in for rating is an entirely voluntary thing. There is no law requirement that any movie has to have their movie rated, right? I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff on the back end that says if you don't have a rated movie, you can't be shown in theaters or something like that, right? But yeah, it's a voluntary thing, which seemed kind of crazy to me because every movie we ever see has a rating attached to it. There was 4 original ratings. Can you give them to me? You know them? Are you looking at it right now on your screen?
Not looking at anything. I'm just looking at our typical landing page. It's E for everyone or general admission, so G.
G.
There's hey, this one's a little more than G, and then there's the hey, what's up? This is you might see some full stuff. Frontal male nudity.
So there was general. You're right on that one.
And then there's X for too much.
Yeah, which is weird, right? Because it changed. So G for general, which we still have, right? That's most of your animated stuff, even though we'll get into that. M for mature, and mature was later turned into PG, parental guidance, which is a weird shift, right? You go from mature to parental guidance, which it is a full age range. Like, first of all, it was mature before. You had rated R, which is no one under 17 without parental or guardian. And then you had X, which was no one under 17, right? So X eventually gets pushed out and turned to NC-17, which you very rarely ever see a movie with an NC-17 rating, right? And X is now what we know of it today as pornography. And so NC-17 and X are 2 totally different ratings nowadays. In 1984, PG-13 was added, which, I mean, we all know is, 13 and under, which is such a stupid rating. It's such an in-between, especially nowadays, where 13-year-old kids are like 30-year-old adults or want to be. And in 1990, they got rid of the X and did NC-17, moved X to pornography. So yeah, it's interesting. So, 68. So all the stuff that I brought in is post 68.
Mm-hmm.
And all but one is post 84 when PG-13 was at.
Yeah, I think the oldest one I have is from the late 70s, and then
probably sometime around mine 1975. Might be the same movie here.
I know. I gotta look it up. I didn't write the dates down for those ones.
It's number one. I'll go ahead and just drop my, because this one's like the number one. If you look up anything that shows movies that should have had a higher rating, right? Now we look at it in 75, where the rating board's only been out for 7 years, and that is Jaws. Jaws, contrary to what you might think, is rated PG.
Yeah,
it's a PG movie. You could have taken your 6-year-old to watch that movie, yo.
And they did.
yeah, they did. Yeah.
If you thought my kid can handle this, I'm just going to scar them for life.
It's a shark attack movie, Rumor has it that Spielberg was in with the ratings board at that point and knew that if he made it a rated R movie, that it would not get the spotlight it would have as a PG movie. Not a good PG movie.
Do you think Steven Spielberg would be as big as, like, he's created our childhood, right?
Pretty much.
Do you think, considering this was his big, like, breakout movie, do you think if it was an R-rated film that he would have had the same success that he's kind of had?
I don't know if it would have taken away from how good that movie was at the time. It would have made the audience a lot smaller. And I think because that movie was so like wild for its rating and had such a large group of people that could go see it, that the controversy that comes out of that movie not being rated R kind of shot it up. I still think he would have been who he was, even if that movie would have came out as R, because it would have still a good movie.
Yeah.
You know? And that's 2 years, previous to Star Wars coming out. Like, there was some movies being shown that were kind of turning the tide.
For sure. And even, like, yeah, no, I'm with you 100% there. Jaws, good call. First one that came to mind when I was just thinking about this list before I went and, like, did a deep dive of, like, what else is stuff that's considered? Gremlins, because we just watched that over the holiday season.
Yeah, I saw this on the list.
Freaking, it makes sense, though, because, like, it's kind of terrifying.
It's a horror movie.
Like, once they won that later half of the movie, it's like, oh, shit pops off.
Yeah, stuff pops off.
There's mild cursing in it, which,
It's kind of wild, especially when you go through the 80s, like, what they got away with, right? Like, there's some movies on lists that I saw today that I was just like, oh, that movie's PG? Like, I don't know if I ever looked at the rating for that movie, and I was like, I'd have told you 1,000 times over it wasn't a PG movie.
Yeah.
Whether it was 13 or rated R or whatever, I'd have been like, no, it's definitely... Because you look at, like, nowadays where, like, every Marvel movie that comes out is PG-13.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're all just PG-13 immediately. And you have stuff like The Dark Knight, which is PG-13 and probably shouldn't have been.
Dude, yeah.
Like,
that one's like prime example of, like, that one's PG-13. So yeah, it's in the next bracket up, but that one's even like, no, that one should have been the next bracket.
Yeah,
like,
was there a 13-year-old when that movie came out that could watch that entire movie and tell me why it was the way that it was? Like, that's pretty,
Yeah.
And they've made the new Batman was rated R, right? The Robert Pattinson one?
Yes. No. I think that one snuck through with a PG-13, because I think that was one that Drew had said, oh yeah, that's PG-13. I'm like, no, that's not PG-13. Are you out of your freaking gourd?
Yeah.
There's no way. But no, I think that one was rated. I think it slipped through with the PG-13 because they try to do that for the Batman. Batman as a character, because they want the general audience to get in there, because it's Batman, he's for everybody.
The darkest
of
Batman
it's not the one that everybody should be seeing. But yeah, it was PG-13. So
but yeah, with the Gremlins, it's weird to think, like, especially with horror movies, and Gremlins was what, late 80s?
84.
Oh, it's a little earlier.
Yeah.
So that would have been when PG-13 was added. I wonder if they skipped in before, like, PG-13 was an added thing and they would have had to have been a rated R movie. But it's weird to think that there was a horror movie, because it was based, they called it a horror movie since birth, that it would not, that you would at that time in the 80s have put out a horror movie that wasn't rated R.
Yeah. But this one, because it doesn't have such outlandish,
it doesn't have boobies.
It doesn't have the nudity. And I think that's a big part. Like, once you show a nipple, they're like, oh, that automatically makes you. It's like the modern day equivalent is, if you have smoking in a movie now, that automatically makes you R.
True.
And that's a modern thing within the last few years. Whereas back in the day, like, gosh, what did we watch recently that we're like, everybody is smoking in this? Oh, we were watching Mr. Mom. And it was like, everybody's smoking in that movie. And it's the most casual thing.
Oh, it's crazy. We watched Scrooged over Christmas. Yeah. Daisy had never seen Bill Murray's Scrooged. So we watched it, and it's the same thing in there. They're like in a nice restaurant, just getting whiskey, just lighting up cigarettes. Yeah, it's just like, it's crazy to think that. I mean, even in my childhood, and especially in yours, right? Even in my childhood, when I was growing up, 7 or 8 years old, we were going into restaurants and they were still asking smoking or not.
Yeah.
We were probably still 7 or 8 years before.
Even though it didn't really matter, it was all smoking. Like,
yeah. And I grew up, my mom smoked. She no longer does, thankfully, but my mom smoked, and we never sat in the smoking section. Like, it was like rules that we had, right? But yeah, you think about that, and it's like we'd be at like when I was growing up, it was called Ryan's. That was our buffet, like before Golden Corral was around. And you'd go into Ryan's and they'd have a curtain. Like, there's not extra ventilation, it's the 90s. They weren't doing anything extravagant to clear the air. It was just, there's a curtain. Like, we're in the no smoking section. Like, we're good. There's no smoke here.
We're fine. So, did you catch Spirited by chance? The Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell Christmas Story movie?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, dude! Next Christmas.
Yeah,
it's funny because recommend that one.
It's when I thought about the podcast the most. Right, it was during Christmas time, because like Halloween and Christmas were when I missed this the most. Right, and I'm bummed that we're starting it back in January, but I'm glad we're starting it back. But like, those are our bread and butter months, is October to December, right? And it was just like, it was a real bummer when I got to that point and realized that we weren't doing it. And it was just like, man, we've got to get this started. Like, we have to. And I remember hitting you up at New Year's and like us finally getting together and being like, hey, let's continue. I need this in my life. I'll bring up my next one. And this one will be somewhat quick because it kind of surprised me that it was PG, but also I can see it being PG. And this is my first of 2 88 movies.
Oh.
And that is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice, PG movie. And I will say, like, they do a pretty good job of keeping it semi-PG, but I'm going to bring up 2 things. First of all is like his, like, the sexual innuendos that he makes, and the fact that he's in like the pretty much the strip club in the beginning. Like, he's pretty dirty, like real close to being, crossing a line. And then the way that they do like the underworld, right? Like with the death and the suicide and like
the social workers.
Yeah, the social workers. And it's, when I saw it on there, I was like, Beetlejuice is a PG movie. And you know what? It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's probably the best example of like making a movie that caters to adults that kids can watch, because it has a bunch of innuendo, a bunch of like deeper stuff when they're like,
it's also scary.
Social workers are people who committed suicide. It's like, oh, that's fucked up. And then they take you to it and you see it and you're like, you see all the way that people kind of committed suicide and you're like, holy crap, I
think that's cuss word number 7.
God,
Rick. I'm just saying, that's more than one F-bomb.
I am
pretty sure you just gave us our explicit tag.
Son of a gun.
I can't believe it was you. But I 100% agree. Like, especially in 88, right? So you've had the PG-13 title out for 4 years at this point, and how that one like slipped through at that point. Yeah. Like away from the death stuff and even the sexual innuendos, there's some parts of that movie that are legitimately like frightening. And for like a 6-year-old who, parental guidance or not, sees Beetlejuice, like, that's a horror movie. But yet you said everyone could watch it.
Yeah, it's true. And we've shown our kids that one because we're so like,
it's Beetlejuice.
So fantastical because the bright colors and the campiness and all this. But I think it's when you become an adult or an older kid that like you start to, you catch on to those things. Whereas as a kid, you just see this funny character who's doing this, or they're stretching their faces to do that and look like spooky monsters or whatever.
Yeah.
They get by with the camp factor more than anything. But fantastic. My next one is Poltergeist from 1982.
I saw this one on the list too.
Just terrifying. Like there's things that they do in that movie. It's spooky for a kid to watch this. And this is one of those movies I always bring up. Like, what's the movie that scared you as a kid? I'm like, Poltergeist.
Yeah, terrifying. You shouldn't have seen it when they told you were allowed to see it. Like, hands down, you said this one's 82, so it's pre the PG-13. But again, it goes back to the thought of, horror movies not being rated R. And at that point, so you're 2 years out of the first Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah.
Which has a rated R tag for it. And it's all because of boobies.
It's all because of boobies.
It's
like
all
those
because
early
of
movies.
boobies.
That's a big part of it. But I've got a movie on here that'll kind of dissuade the nudity thing that even came out before this movie. So, but what's your next one?
I've got one more legitimate one, and then I have two I want to throw in for like runner-ups, right?
Yeah.
But my last big one, what year was your next one from?
Well, I don't have them in particular. I'm just running down ones that I just put on there that I was like, oh, these are some good examples of like PG. I didn't have like a necessary like top 5. Like,
No,
oh, these.
so this would have been my main one, and still like one of my all-time favorite movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Shit, good call.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. You're the worst. I'm gonna go off next episode, just so our audience knows, right? I'm going off next episode.
You're gonna do George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on television.
I've done great, right? Turned it off at the beginning of this episode. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? For multiple reasons, right? There's pictures of a baby smoking a cigar constantly. Yeah. This guy is an alcoholic for all intents and purposes. Jessica Rabbit may be one of the most beautiful things walking the planet as an animated bombshell. Still holds up to this day as just a like push me into puberty early with Jessica Rabbit stuff. Sexual innuendos there, but the thing that gets me the most is the torture scene of Christopher Lloyd's Doom like dropping the shoe into the bath of acid.
It's the sound, it's the sight,
it's
the
murder.
Whole thing is just straight like no.
Yeah, I feel bad for a tune. You know, and that movie again in 88, so that's 2 of mine in 88. You're 4 years post PG-13, and with that being animated as I think the biggest selling point for why they got to stay in that PG era. But like did you guys watch it before you gave it a rating, or did you just like, oh, it's half animated, like cool, PG, slide that one through? When I saw that, I would have told you 1,000 times over that wasn't a PG movie.
Yeah. No, yeah. You at least at the very least PG-13. You know, like for
sure. Is it a rated R movie? No.
No, they didn't quite go that far, but they definitely should be.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Which one do I want to do? I think I'll do Airplane from 1980.
I saw this one on the list as well. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, so I didn't want to throw it on the list just because I saw it on the list.
When they realize that the pilot gets sick and they pass out and do all that, there's a scene where they're all freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. And there's literally like a 2-second shot of just a gal jumping in front of the screen topless and jumping up and down while her boobs bounce.
Really? So there's boobies in this one.
There's boobies in this. So that's why it's like, well, nudity doesn't necessarily. And this one is PG. Like, it's not PG-13. It's PG. And they've got, the innuendo out the ear and like all these other things. It's Airplane. Like, it's filled with all the stuff that nowadays it would have been a hard R, but like now it's
been
like
that super bad level.
And it's, oh my God. Funny
that's interesting because like I'm curious if it's for the sole fact that like people just didn't take slapstick comedy serious back then.
Maybe,
like it's kind of that up and coming part of slapstick comedy where it's like a more produced version of like a Monty Python, because all the Monty Pythons I believe are PG. But for the most part, Monty Pythons are pretty PG. Like you go back and watch The Holy Grail and it's like, there's not a lot of stuff in there that is out of the realm of what I would consider a PG movie. Probably language more than anything else.
Language. There's some stuff like, there's a whole scene where, is it Lancelot? I think it's Lancelot. He gets stuck in the tower that's filled with all these, like nuns. and they're like, "Oh, I've been a bad girl, so I deserve a spanking."
Oh, okay.
Me
Yeah.
too, me
Yeah,
too. And
you're
so they're
right.
all that. And then the terrifying part with the rabbit, whatever the freaking name of
The
it, the
white,
rabbit that
yeah.
comes, tears out their throats, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's kind of
yeah.
terrifying. Um, that one definitely is a case of like maybe PG-13, maybe not PG, and that's where it's like it's not an R movie where some of these on the
No.
list like should have been R. You
Yeah.
know that one, and you're right. Monty Python mostly is just they're PG movies, except for like, oh, I forgot the name of it, unfortunately. But there's one that's like super like, yeah, that's an R-rated one, but that's like they're only R-rated, where most of their other stuff is PG because
Yeah, because Life of
movies
Brian, I
television
think gets a
just
little weird. But like
yeah,
Flying Circus, is that National Lampoon actually?
no, that's
Anyways,
yeah,
yeah.
but you know,
Um, I'm gonna throw it off before I throw my last one with TV stuff that was built for kids. And that should have never been shown to kids. This is something that, like, through our childhood would have been showing up on Adult Swim, not Cartoon Network, right? And instead we got to see it on Nickelodeon, and that's Ren and Stimpy. And like, especially as an
oh
adult,
yeah,
going back and watching some of the Ren and Stimpy things go down, you're just there's no way. And like, I watched the Orange Years, the documentary, the Nickelodeon documentary, and they had some of the writers and stuff on for that, and even they were like, we pushed the envelope so much that there were things that they did not want to show them for there being fear that they would say yes, put it on. And like, that's how crazy Ren and Stimpy got. And yet that was something we were just allowed to watch on just regular Nickelodeon, like built for kids.
yeah.
And going back, there's still parts of Ren and Stimpy that like make me uncomfortable that I was allowed to watch this.
Like they just put this on like it
Yeah,
was
they're just
nothing,
like, let it roll.
you know.
Let it
Well,
roll.
one of my favorite shows of all.
It would.
It would be Never Ending Story from 1984.
I saw this on the list too, and I'll let you explain it on why it should be rated higher. But when I saw it on the list, I was like, I don't think so. That doesn't make sense. And then they had like a little synopsis of one of the reasons why it should be, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty rough. But go ahead
I
and
mean,
tell me why.
well, like the big reason, like the one that pops out is obviously the scene where the horse is just giving up, and basically
Just
allegory for depression, and it just gives up, and he's pulling on the
it's
horse,
the
and
swamp of sadness.
it's terrifying. And then there's all
It's
the like that movie in general is just kind of sad when it should be this fantastic, a fantasy movie for kids. It's really not.
it's not. It's pretty rough. Like
It's
Atreyu
pretty
has a
rough.
time.
Poor kids bullied at school,
But
which
Falcor's
wouldn't fly today. Besides Falcor is like the one part where you're like, yeah, happy luck, dragon, let's go.
yeah.
But everything else is like, you're doomed, you're gonna die. You
Yeah.
gotta stay away from this. And you're like, the darkness is gonna get you. Yeah, this movie's gonna get you.
Yeah, it's again, we talk about horror movies that probably should have been horror movies, and that was probably one of them. And they made
Yeah.
like 3 of those things.
Yeah.
It's like watching Up, right? Neverending Story has that same syndrome of watching like Up, where like Daisy and I went to watch Up the other day because I was like, baby, I don't want to watch it. And she's like, well, just fast forward through the bad part. And it's like the first 10 minutes of that movie are rough.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we started watching it, and like 15 minutes in, I was like, do we? And she's like, no, we can turn it off. I was like, cool. Like, I'm ruined anyway. Like, we watched the crappy part of this movie, and now I have to think about it for no matter what else I watch. Is like, all I can think is this happy life, happy wife. And he doesn't have a wife no more. And I was like, this is a
No.
bummer. That's a
That's somehow-
good example of a movie that should have been PG-13 for the first half an hour.
And he stuck like somehow he kept living and like was this poor balloon salesman his whole life. And you're like, huh. If this was like an adult animated movie, that movie would have been 20 minutes long. Because
Yeah, or that wife would have got murdered
how do
like
I take myself
Batman's
out?
parents.
You know? Yeah.
You know.
I could have gone a different way for sure.
Yeah.
What a wild freak.
You got another one you want to throw out before I throw out my last one?
Howard the Duck.
Okay, I saw this one too, and I was just like, it's been so long since I've seen Howard the Duck. But like he was such a rated R character in the Marvel comics that I would, again, if you'd have told me, hey, what rating is Howard the Duck, I'd have been like, that's like one of Marvel's first rated R movies. And it wasn't. And a lot of people don't realize that that's a Marvel movie.
Yeah. The duck humping that happens in it that nobody wants to talk about.
And when he's just smoking the entire time too, and it's
it's that one's all like
that one's
him a dirty duck, man.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one because I got it on DVD. I still own it on DVD.
It's not a very good movie at all.
No, it wasn't when it came out either, but it has its like merits.
And then now it's just like this weird cult status that you watch it and you're like, oh man, the 80s, am I right?
no kidding.
Am I right?
I got one more, and this one's gonna be up for debate, right? Because it should have taken a big jump in my opinion. And I know this has been talked about previously, but I'm throwing Lion King in that list.
Lion King,
because the way Nala looks at Simba during that scene is
the hey, let's
getting the lion D, if you know what I'm saying. Like he's getting the full pride of the pack.
Let alone the whole murder of your
escape from the murder, right? The framed murder, nonetheless. Like framed as an accident. You were family. That was your brother.
Freaking scars.
I just wanted to throw it in there because it's like you go back and look at some of the old Disney movies, like even Beauty and the Beast, and all the unnecessary kissing in Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. It's like this is weird, but the look that Nala gave Simba in that movie should have been. I mean, I've seen pornos that don't start as heavy-handed as that one did.
Yeah, a lot of the movies that come up on these lists, last one I would mention would be Spaceballs, should be a little higher than what it is.
And even they were close, right? Like Spaceballs,
like I could see why it went PG. Like they're not necessarily hard enough to be like definitively, but it's like there's plenty of innuendo and some other things that happen, where they're doing their lightsaber things. They're doing it for their crotch, it's like, okay, maybe that should be PG-13, but that's kind of funny. I mean, God, we go on forever with
it's funny because even when I looked at it, I was like, the real big difference, and that's why I think it was probably smart for us to go PG this time, because we will have another episode that I think has to do with PG-13 movies and like how that is such a mishmash of a ratings area that you can't go off of.
Hocus Pocus
I saw on that list too. Yeah, you're looking at the same one, the IMDb one, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at that one earlier, and Hocus Pocus I thought about, and I was like, not really. Like they say virgin a lot, which I mean, I guess in woke society nowadays might be a cause for problems, but like Hocus Pocus, that's a PG movie all day.
Well, it's just because they're like constantly like, well, he's a virgin. Oh, way to go, virgin.
Yeah, true.
Awful virgin. He's only 16. Leave him alone. Like,
he's 16 in the mid 90s. Like, chill out.
It's like a guy's business about being a good boy. Yeah, the list is insane with the stuff.
There's like 84 movies on that list. All the Indiana Joneses are PG.
But wasn't it like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was kind of the big pusher of why they created the PG-13?
Yeah, it's like Mortal Kombat.
Because they were like, oh, he literally pulled a heart out of somebody's chest. Maybe this should be rated more than just PG.
Yeah, and there's a lot of murder in those ones.
A lot of murder. Nazi face melting business happening.
Yeah, for real though. Don't open the heart, dude. Oh, goodness gracious. Got anything else you want to add to that?
No, it's a wild subject to delve into because like you first think about certain movies from childhood that you're just like, oh wait, that's only PG? Wow, that's wild. And then once you kind of see a list, you're like, really?
Yeah.
How did that get by? And I think there's weird things that happen. Like Fritz the Cat is actually rated X when it came out, but they released a version that was PG that was tailored for kids because it
Yeah.
is animated. So they took all the naughty bits out, released it. So at some point
Fritz
it was
pretty crazy.
but ultimately it is a AOX, whatever you want to call it, NC-17, like all that stuff. Because old Ralph Bakshi was horny guy who liked to push the envelope in his animation. He was the anti-Disney for sure.
I didn't put Fritz on there because I've seen very little of Fritz other than like, you know, excerpts and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that cat has a reputation for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird like going through the list and like seeing, because like I looked up a list because I was like, I don't know what stuff's rated anymore. Like, and a lot of those movies I'd have told you weren't going to be on the PG list. I was like, well, okay, like we have to talk about that. Like, it is surprising, especially when you get into like the 80s range. When they had the options, you've had the board for a while now. You all should have worked out some kinks by this point. And yet you're still putting some of these things out as PG. Like, I don't know.
Or stuff that should have been like it's rated PG, but you're like, the movie they put out definitely should have been in that. But like Cat in the Hat is the example where it should be G. That should be a G-rated movie. It's rated PG. But like seeing that movie with Mike Myers, it should be PG-13, even though the subject matter should be way back
it's
in
Cat in the Hat.
Such a weird.
How did you make me feel uncomfortable with you being a cat in a hat?
I mean, just
you did it.
Makeup alone is terrifying, let alone him cutting off his tail and cursing and having to cut away to technical difficulties. And that movie's wild if you've never seen
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it too, because I've seen some stuff on it lately too where I was like, I guess he does say some wild stuff in this.
And then Alec Baldwin's in it, which I don't know if anybody heard, but he got put up for involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, they're gonna charge him.
Yeah, so he's in some.
That's crazy.
Trouble, which really sucks for him because to have such an illustrious career where somebody like him who's done hundreds of movies
and to do something on accident and have to go to prison for it.
It's a wild thing.
Our justice system, again, we're not going to talk politics here. But if you don't have anything else,
I got.
We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yeah. I guess it'll take us out with the weird question of the week.
I mean, I'll post everything in the show notes for where you can find us, because I've changed my name up on a couple things now that I regret. But yeah, lead us out the way that we start and come into this world.
Yeah, well, we'll leave with a PG-rated weird question of the week. What would you do if you cut into a cobbler and a tiny cobbler came out?
There's so many questions. I have so many questions. But we'll save them for next week, I guess. Goodness gracious. We appreciate you guys stopping by and listening to this week's episode of the Retronomipod. We love you. And we will catch you next week.
Good night.
Hey, we remembered. And fuck.
Oh no, we got the X rating.
I had to put one in, right? At some point.
Yeah. It's so natural for it just to come out because I don't censor myself around the kids.
I can't believe it was you.
And so it's like I don't censor myself for them. So for me trying to do it for the show, it was when you called me out, I was like, no, I didn't. Wait, I might have.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was you. I think you cussed like 7 times. I did not drop one the entire episode. I think I said hell once.
Yeah, I just.
So good. What's good? Did you go look at the stream, by the way, to see like the setup, how it looked with the cameras on it?
I didn't. I really should have jumped over there.
Yeah, it's still up. So go look at it.
Okay, let me just.
Because I think it looks cool. I really do like the way it looks. I might switch up and give us different TVs.
Up.
But this worked out really well.
Loading. Blue's Clues is live. You don't care. Let's see. Oh, dang!
It looks cool, right?
Fuck, that's so good, dude.
I think I like it better than our last one.
Yeah, different TVs could be fun for sure. Sorry, now I'm listening back to the thing, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, maybe I'll take a look at it this week.
That's
See what we
cool.
can't figure out.
If you're able to just pull up any kind of TV, you should pull up TVs of the years that we were born. Like what was the popular TV in 1989? And
This would have probably been close for you.
Frame.
It has 12 channels.
Got 12 channels. Yeah, that was pretty appropriate, I think.
Yeah, that one's pretty age appropriate for you. Yeah. Surprisingly, this would have been about the TV that I played on until I was like 5 or 6. My parents got a free Zenith from somebody. 32-inch. Yeah, I don't know. I do like it better. I like the background and stuff better. I thought it was going to be too busy, but I think with the cameras on, it looks pretty good.
Because it gives people something to be like, oh, look at that. Clarissa explains it all. Like it kind of adds like little things that people are like, oh, shit, look at that. It's kablam. Stuff that we've touched on, stuff we haven't touched on that makes me want to talk about. Salute you short. Like, it's a very cool background to have.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I like the new updated version. All right, stream. Thanks if you're in here. Love you. Bye.
I got to get a